And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Everybody who's traded has gone through periods of time where their strategy hasn't worked.
Where if not a hard stop, you should reevaluate the trades you're in based on time.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Hello, friends and traders. Welcome to the Coach's Playbook for Tuesday, August 16th. We are recording on Thursday, August 11th, though, for some reason. But here we are anyway. Today, we're going to follow up on last week's playbook video. We were talking about a day in the life of a prop trader, but we're going to change it just a little bit. We're going to talk about some of our greatest experiences from our past trading lives. So, we're going to touch on a few things, whether it's eluding your risk manager in the stairwell, or maybe a legendary Christmas party you attended. I'm sure we've all got some great stories to throw around here. But before we get started, Dan, you got a funded trader shout out for us?
Yeah, I do. We've got a trader, Brian Sukup, currently in an open position, but he's up $3,400 and he's trading NASDAQ and the Euro. So finding some good opportunity there. Really excited to see that.
We don't hear
Trading
about
one
too many
lots
Euro
too.
traders.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Maybe we'll start a new trend there. Great to hear. All right. Well, I was going to round it around. I was going to go around, but let's just lead with Dan after that. How about, what do you say? Give us a good one.
I'm looking back and I got yelled at a lot. Being the boss's son, he liked to make an example out of me. But I do remember one of my earlier days working for him. I was living downtown Chicago. I was a young guy, post-Marine Corps, and I was enjoying living in a big city. And so I was burning the candle at both ends pretty regularly because I could function on minimal sleep. And I've been out with friends the night before and I overslept. I slept through my alarm like we talked about last week. I was usually in the office about 5:45 because we had a call at 6 a.m. And I remember coming in. I woke up, I had like 12 missed calls, not just from, the boss, but a lot of the guys I worked with, they were calling. And I woke up to all these missed calls. It was about 6:15, so I'd already missed the call. I avoided the shower. I threw on like quick clothes. And instead of trying to catch the brown line, I lived exactly 1 mile up LaSalle Street from the Board of Trade. So the Board of Trade is at the dead end of LaSalle. And I sprinted the 1 mile in. I'm sweating. I'm gross. I'm nasty. I came in and I just tried to jump right into the trading day. And I got a long heated lecture about missing the call, being diligent, sticking to the routine. And hindsight was a great lesson because basically it was like the roundabout way of the lesson was, no, even if you're running behind, you need to stick to your morning prep. You've got to go through the call. So I had to get on the phone with the statistician. They did charge me out of pocket for that one because he did cost for all the calls. So I had to pay for the daily phone call. Let's just say it's not cheap. I had to get on the phone. I did the call with him, ended up trading. I had a terrible day because I felt just was so out of whack, out of sorts, didn't shower, didn't work out, no nothing. And so that was a great lesson. And I got chewed out pretty good for it.
You could always instantly tell. You could pick out the guys who had been up all night almost immediately. It reminds me of a story. My very first job on the trading floor was a runner for RJ O'Brien when I was still in school. And one of the guys on my team showed up and you knew he hadn't gotten much sleep the night before. And the guy who was running our desk literally wrote down a ticket to another one of our managers on the floor. He just wrote down, I won't use any real names. So, hello, Mr. T. My name is Michael. Please send me home. I haven't slept yet. He rolled it up, gave it to the runner, and made him run it out to the manager, who opened it up, read it, started laughing out loud, and then he sent the kid home. Pretty, there's par for the course for showing up under the weather. What about you? You were around during the golden era of the trading floor
Yeah.
when the airport trade was still a viable risk management tool.
Yeah, I'd heard about that. I never knew anybody who actually did it, but I was going to mention, as you're working on the trading floor, there were always days that you knew were going to be hellish, like just very busy, no breaks. And if you were worked on the trading floor and you called in sick that day, it was equal to basically turning in your resignation, like unemployment day. So in the S&P pit, or the night before unemployment, everybody was told to go home and be good so that they could be nice and fresh for unemployment. But it always seemed that Thursday night before unemployment was one of the biggest party nights, because I think everybody knew no matter what, Friday was going to be just a terrible day, not financially, just as far as stress and work and sweating and no bathrooms. So everybody just seemed to want to go out on Thursday night. And I knew a lot of guys that survived some unemployment days on no sleep.
And those are brutal days too. But like you said, if the pit was cleared out by 9 o'clock, everybody would just come in for an hour and then take off.
It's funny, the difference, right? You guys were future side, and I can imagine hellish on the future side. Option side, like everyone's chomping at the bit. We know volatility is going to spike. There's going to be opportunity. It was the day that the pits were packed. Unemployment and expiration Fridays, like the pit's packed. Things are going to happen, and everyone is like completely jazzed up and cannot wait for that day. Like they were purposely going home, getting a good night's sleep on those Thursday nights.
Not everyone played by those rules. I'll attest to it.
Yeah, we had guys, as a runner, you'd have a phone clerk give a guy an order for the cotton pit, and so the runner would be running around the trading floor looking for the cotton pit. And there was no cotton pit on a Chicago trading floor. So they'd have a whole bunch of people going, yeah, it's over there. It's over there.
Everyone knew what was happening.
For sure. And the guy'd be gone for 45 minutes and he'd say, there's no cotton pit.
Or sending a runner up to the office to grab a box of upticks. That was another good one.
Hey, I'm short a few upticks. You want to go up and get a box of upticks?
Could have used an uptick this morning.
Yeah, right. We have a little trading competition going in the office right now. And I think Dan's team is in the lead, if I'm not mistaken.
Looks like Dan's team's going to take the victory, the big W.
He was accused of front running orders, but I trust that he is not doing that.
We can check IP addresses, trading a different product than everyone else. And we're in the lead. So we obviously.
What were you trading, Dan?
We're trading NASDAQ.
You trading NASDAQ? What's
We're
everybody else
having
trading? I
fun.
know I'm trading ES.
Yeah.
We got
I'm
a
trading
number of
ES.
traders. We got a number of traders in the ES. We've got a few trading crude oil. And I think there's 2 other NASDAQ teams. But ES seems to be the big dog for the majority.
Yeah. We were tracking crude oil, but we were missing too many good trades early on. So we just stuck with the ES after that.
Well, when you're trading like in a team like that, it's difficult to come to any kind of agreement.
It's hard to get everybody on the same page at the same time. That's for sure.
And I think, like, I've looked back, I used to be on we used to, at one of the firms I was with, we were team trading, not in a sense of like everyone's trading off one account, but Jack and I talked about this on the podcast a couple weeks ago. And basically you rated a percentage of the net profits made by that team. So if it was a group of like 5 guys trading one product, your contract that you signed with the firm, you got X% on top of like your base salary, you got X% of the net profits, because they wanted everyone kind of involved together, supporting each other, helping each other manage risk, and also sharing trade ideas. What I've been there where you're 100% on your own in your own little world. You don't want to share with the guy next to you of like, hey, this is working really, really well for me, because maybe there's that payout at the end for top trader of the month. Like I know a lot of firms have, but we all work together. And so it's a little bit different then versus now that I've really noticed. It's like when we were as a group trading, everyone was really in there together, making those decisions, helping each other manage risk. This one's a little different, working with non-traders and having to help them make that decision.
Well, it was that way on the trading floor too. I mean, if there was, something that somebody found that was working really well, he stood there and looked miserable, like he was never making $1 because he didn't want anybody to figure out that what he was doing was working. Like the guys in the back month S&Ps, they were taking money out of there in wheelbarrows, but they always looked miserable, like, yeah, this is terrible. You don't even want to do this. When the ARB came in between that and the minis, the S&P and the minis, those guys, they acted like they never made $1, but they were made a fortune doing that.
Those guys that got in on the ARB early, there was a lot of money to be made. And just for the people out there to understand what John's talking about, especially when the screens came in too, that was another form of ARB. And when the screens would come in and a trade would come into the pit, and then I would say you had a little more time at that price to get the fill versus, as we all know on the screen, it's just constantly bouncing up and down. And so if you're coming into the pit and if you can just ARB 1 or 2 ticks on the screen and you can fill a 10 lot, a 50 lot, 100 lot, whatever, you can work your broker and you can just be in and out. You're never holding a position. It was a good opportunity for a lot of people.
The guy standing in the pit, when the minis are 50 or half bid and you see a broker that's got, 10 to sell and he sells you 30s and you hit 50 of the half bid, you just locked in 2 ticks on 10 contracts. That's big money. You do that all day long. You're just printing money. It was, you could buy it cheaper in the pit, sell it in the minis real quick, and just lock in profits all day long.
Yep,
Times have changed.
That was a great strategy for quite a few years too. I think around 2007, 2008, that really kind of died out though. I remember the early days of electronic trading too. We were one of the first groups with the screens in the pit, and that's what we did all day long, just waiting for paper to come in, find that ARB, squeeze out a few
ball it and hit the minis.
Yep, exactly.
So I want to bring it back. Hogue, you brought up the airport trade. Give everyone out there a little insight of what this is, because it's pretty aggressive.
Well, let's say you're having a really bad day. You're going to be out of the business, at least for a while anyway. So you put on a big position and you get in a cab and you go out to O'Hare and you call down to the trading floor. And if the position has gone your way, you tell them to get you out. But if it's gone against you, you get on a plane and you get out of the country. That's the O'Hare spread.
Risk management at its finest.
Absolutely.
Say something, Dan?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I've heard the story of the O'Hare or the airport spread or the airport trade or the O'Hare trade. Never knew anyone personally that knew anyone that did it. I've only heard the stories, and it seems like everyone's just heard the stories, but someone had to have done it, right?
I mean, for something like that, for a story like that to get out, I'm sure someone did it. Maybe someone watching right now knows somebody that it happened to, and you'd like to share with us.
There was the other way too, that you made so much money that you could have told your buddies to meet you at O'Hare on Friday because you were going to New Orleans for the weekend. And
with a lunch bag full of cash.
Yeah, and nobody tell your wife because we're going down to the Midwest Seeds and Oils session in New Orleans for the weekend. You get a call on
John,
Monday.
you know the strategy pretty well on that one.
Oh yeah. Well, I come from a long line of traders.
The Seeds and Oil Conference. I'm going to remember that one. Thanks, Hogue.
Yeah, Midwest Seeds and Oils Conference.
Well, with that, we hope you enjoyed our little yarns here. We sure enjoyed being here, telling them. With that, Hogue, you want to close us out with a couple of words of wisdom?
Sure. Yeah. When things aren't going well, it's usually not the best idea to stack up and go down to O'Hare. Just be a good risk manager. You don't want to be causing those kind of problems for yourself or others. And hopefully you enjoyed today's session. I'm sure we've got lots more stories, and I'm not sure we can even tell them, but maybe one of these days we'll get to that. So anyways, get out there and profit today. Trade well.